What's going on, everyone? It's time for some really obscure sci-fi thriller stuff. This is marketed as a horror film as well, but I don't normally classify it as a horror film at all. Today I'm going to talk about a film called Created to Kill, which is also released as under the title Embryo. That's where it is, where most places I can find it. But on my DVD pack thing I have of that has it, its title is Created to Kill, and that's the title that pops up on the title card. So yeah, but it was released May 21st, 1976, and it was directed by Ralph Nelson, who also did Soldier Blue, Lilies of the Field, Dull and Diablo, and Charlie. It's had a budget of $1.4 million, and I can tell you right now that does not look. It doesn't look like it had that big of a budget, but yeah. So, Created to Kill, or Embryo, is you're introduced to a scientist who ends up crashing his, accidentally hitting a puppy or something, some dog, and which ends up having an alien life form living in it, and it enhances the growth of babies. So he studies it because as he was going to bring the dog, like heal the dog up and keep it and nurse it back to health. But in the midst of this, he finds this fetus, this little baby puppy she was going to have, and yeah, it ends up having some like extraterrestrial things in it. But it rapidly grows and becomes fully mature really quick. So he gets the smartest idea of putting it into a human embryo and grow a human that way and see how it is. So he's doing it, um, like keeping it from the university that he works for, and he's doing it just under key. He doesn't tell his wife anything about it or anything like that, and he basically does grows this human, and she turns out to be very smart and well done. So he kind of he as he creates this human out of this embryo. This it gets he gets pretty attached, and so he tries to keep her for himself. And yeah, but he also has other commitments and has to go to like parties and stuff. So he brings her along, but she starts growing too smart for him and outsmarting him and stuff. And she goes and it starts becoming more and more tricky for him to keep control of the situation, where she is ending up going off and doing um, sketchy, weird things and stuff. And he's basically chasing her down because she is learning. She slowly learns of what actually happens and who she is, and goes on a rampage. Basically, this was a really weird movie. It has an interesting concept. I love the concept of it. I love the first like 25 minutes of this movie was pretty well done, actually. Cinematography is not the greatest in this, but it could just be the transfer I watched. But yeah, and the acting is decent enough in this. But once you get past like the 25-minute, like this movie slows way down. It goes more into like a romantic thriller more, and it gets really stale. Like there's like a 20-minute chess scene in this for no reason, and then but once they go on the chase and stuff, there's some pretty interesting stunt work and stuff. And then the ending was pretty dramatic, pretty abrupt, but overall it still looked all right. So I don't think this is the worst movie in the world, but it definitely was super boring and not really. It's not going to be for everyone for sure. And it wasn't really for me because the first 25 minutes was cool and amusing, but the rest of it definitely downplayed the rest. So, yeah. But overall, it's not the greatest. So, and I can see why you can watch this for free pretty much anywhere. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Tubi and all that. I'll link one of those down below so you just watch what I'm talking about if you're interested in it. But yeah, this film was not the most impressive thing I've seen. I'm going to give this film a 1.5 out of 5. So, but let me know let me know in the comments if you've seen it. Yeah. So, but like I said, I'll find it either on YouTube or on Tubi and link it down below so you can watch it for free there. Also, make sure you check out my Instagram. This link down below. That's where I post clips of films and review in the future on my story. I had the film title and a hashtag, and subject on film and a hashtag, so you're aware of it. Also, my Letterbox is down below at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating after watching the films. And my Twitter's down below at reviews_Derek. So follow me on those platforms, stay in the loop with this channel. Like this video, share it so more people aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below. And if you have any films or film franchise in any genre and on any streaming service that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below. I'll try to get them as soon as I can, if I can find them, if they get taken off or whatever. Also, make sure you subscribe. Hopefully, find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking it together, somewhat like this. Also, so you hear my opinions on popular films, classic films, and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because, oh, who knows what I'm going to talk about next. I think it's Shadow Play or something like that. I think I might check out Shadow Play. That's looks like an erotic thriller with Dee Wallace and that, so it should be good. So let's check that one out in the next one. But in the meantime, watch out for all those crazy scientists trying to make humans out of sci-fi organisms that they know nothing about. Then they go on a terror plot. And I just realized this whole movie is basically a dumbed down version of Species. But it also came out like 20 years before Species. So, yeah, but who would you know? But yeah, anyways, that's it for this one. So, yeah. So watch out for all those crazy scientists that they're making children. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.